Earlier this year, I drove the 2025 Toyota Prius in the Karashi mustard color, the beautiful yellow that Japan got before us. So I'm glad we finally have that mustard color. I enjoyed that Prius so much that it made it into A-tier status on my best cars spreadsheet of 2025. This week I've been reviewing the 2025 Prius, formerly known as Prime. This is the plug-in hybrid. It has the most horsepower. It has tons of EV only range. This one's equipped over $40,000. Is that too much for a Prius? Also stay to the end, because we're going to look for deals on the standard Prius and this Prius plug-in, as well as maybe some Toyota hybrids that you may need to look at besides this model right here. And of course, we'll grade it on the spreadsheet at the very end. And I couldn't do this review today of this Prius plug-in hybrid without the help of Southeast Toyota, my local distributor, as well as my local dealer, Germain Toyota of Naples. This is their car, and they're letting me tell it how it is. Underneath the hood of the Prius plug-in, this made in Japan hybrid is a 2-liter, 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated engine. It has, on the standard Prius, about 194 horsepower, and optional all-wheel drive on the standard Prius. This setup is, at least from my eyes, nearly identical. Still 2-liter naturally aspirated engine, and it is capable of upper 40s miles per gallon. Unlike the standard Prius, this has 220 horsepower, so you get about 25 more horsepower compared to the standard Prius. However, all the power is only going to the front wheels, no all-wheel drive option here. There is a 13.6 kilowatt hour battery, and in my testing this week, it got me just a hair short of 50 miles of fully electric, which is pretty darn good if you ask me. It's rated at 44. I saw 50 with mild AC usage, taking some kids here and there. If you have the base SE Prius plug-in hybrid, I wouldn't be surprised if you can get about mid-50s with a light foot and optimal conditions in terms of EV range. Also, the base model will give you better overall efficiency when you're driving in normal hybrid mode. Mid to upper 40s, like I said, is what I'm seeing here, but on the base SE with the smaller 17-inch wheels, I bet you can see over 50 miles per gallon pretty easily with this heavier plug-in hybrid compared to the lighter standard hybrid with a much smaller battery pack. Underneath the hood here, some nice rubber lining in the back, a little bit of rubber lining in the front. It's very compact in here. A little bit of a hood pad here, maybe to reduce some engine noise. We'll talk about engine noise here once we start driving. Very light aluminum hood. This thing is awesome. If we look at a standard Prius on the LE trim, for example, they don't have these fancier daytime running lights at the bottom. The headlights up here aren't quite as nice, but here on this XSE plug-in, it looks pretty fantastic up front. However, for our market, they keep this stupid license plate holder here no matter what. In other markets, if you go to Japan, I believe this little plate is gone. So if I own this vehicle, I'd put something cheeky here, like plug me in. I don't know, some ridiculous sticker I'd put on the front here to give it some character. At least it'll show something. It just looks terrible here on the Prius, and it's the same thing on the non-plug-in. I like the Toyota badge, how it's kind of just inlaid into the front bumper here. This thing is so sleek, so aerodynamic looking. The A-pillars are so swept back. And this was one of the first vehicles in Toyota's lineup to bring in the hammerhead design, and it is absolutely breathtaking. This is kind of maybe a little bit too bright. I know it's bright, especially on this black paint here, but there's probably a way to get this darkened out aftermarket, but that's just a small complaint. Who would have thought we would see 19-inch wheels on a Prius? Obviously, like I said, the SE is going to give you 17-inch wheels with better efficiency. These tires are going to be hard to find too. I mean, these are 195 width. They are 50 thickness. And my old Prius, let me show you guys, my old Prius back there has tiny wheels with 65 thickness, and I believe they're 15-inch wheels. It's just crazy how far we've come with wheel sizes here on the Prius. And it's not so much about efficiency anymore as it is about style. I mean, this is absolutely insane how the Prius looks. And there's all sorts of cool Easter eggs around this vehicle. Right here it says Prius. I'll show up, shamelessly take a picture so you know what I'm talking about. Also Hybrid Reborn down here by the windshield wipers. This is little nuggets everywhere that Toyota has baked into this vehicle. I do not have turn indicators on the mirror. That's a bit of a miss, but who cares? I mean, this thing looks so sleek, so good from the side. We have the door handles that are tucked into the back here. This hatchback design, no windshield wiper like you have on my old 3rd gen, for example, makes it look really sleek, but there are drawbacks to no rear windshield wipers. Let me turn off the rear lights so you can see one of the differentiators with this Prius compared to a standard hybrid Prius. A standard hybrid Prius has a red light bar in the back. This one, it's whited out, but you can't really tell it's whited out when you turn on the lights, for example. It still looks amazing, pretty futuristic. Tiny Toyota badge in here, kind of like how the Toyota Crowns have that. Prius lettering, which you can barely see it because it's a darker gray. You also have the backup camera here. Plug-in hybrid, PHEV instead of the traditional HEV logo that they have in the back. I mean, the Prius from the rear looks just as good as it does from the front, maybe even better. I mean, this car is just such a looker. Big lift gate. I'm not gonna hit my head on it, so it's taller than 6 feet. We have another little Hybrid Reborn logo here. There is no spare tire, just to fix the flat kit. However, this is a big foam piece. Get an optional spare tire for this vehicle. This has a vehicle to load 1500 watts here of AC power, which is fantastic running your things. There's a box right here. What's the box? Well, that's the level 1 and level 2 combo charger, which is pretty nice little tonneau cover. And like any Prius, you can fold down the rear seats in typical hatchback fashion. All right, but cargo space has gone down versus a previous generation, and so has pretty much all the space. So let's get on the inside and talk about that. I like its dual shock here, pretty nice. And that the top trim, the Premium, will have a lift gate that is electrified or automated. Again, another one of those Easter eggs there. Now the back seat is taking a little bit for my kids to get used to because there's no door handle here. All right, it is a button that unlocks the door and then you pull. You see booster seats back here. My kids haven't had any complaints though. All right, when they're a little bit littler, maybe it would have been hard for them to open this door with the weird handle here, but not too bad. Cheap plastic in the back, not what I'm looking for such an expensive vehicle, to be honest. Soft back to the seats, great legroom. This seat is set up for me, great legroom, and surprisingly good headline and headroom despite this being such an aggressively styled car. This has the glass roof option, so like a double sunroof. It can be had with a solar roof, but I've tested that in the past, and it's kind of a cool party trick, but it's not going to charge your traction battery worth a darn, even here in sunny Florida. I have 2 USBs down here, as well as an additional AC power outlet to get that 1500 watts if I wanted to sit back here with a laptop or something. Would be pretty nice. But you know, pretty cozy back here with these leatherette seats. On the back here, this is where you're going to charge your Prius. Level 1 and level 2 go right into here in this J1772 port. I just been charging my level 1. It'll charge fully the 13 kilowatt hour battery in about 9 hours on a level 1. That's just plug it into a normal socket in the wall, and that's kind of the beauty of a plug-in hybrid. You don't have to have crazy infrastructure put into your house. A level 1 is going to work most of the time compared to an EV. If you had a full battery electric, like that Ioniq 9 over there, you're going to want to have a fast level 2 charging. Like a level 1 is going to do the job here with this small 13 kilowatt hour battery. Inside of this Prius plug-in hybrid, you can see red accents. It's a little bit sportier focus from the red accents on the seats with the red stitching. We have red stitching on this beautiful steering wheel, red LED lighting. You cannot change this on the standard Prius. It is blue here on the plug-in hybrid. Since it's more sporty, I guess, it is a red accent. The physical climate control, what else say, bravo. Heated seats, these seats are perforated. I do not have ventilated seats. I believe that's on the XSE Premium, as well as a 360 camera. You have a digital rearview mirror on that, as well as like the lift gate. The materials here, hard touch at the bottom, soft touch here, hard touch over here. Materials up here, yes, they're softer, but they still don't scream over $40,000 interior to me. I would say it's passable in terms of materials for the interior. There's lots of glossy black in the middle. All right, and I don't know if you guys will see. Let me wrangle this down, we have the traditional hybrid shifter from Toyota. All right, D mode, there's a B mode, which plays with 3 different levels of regen braking. But you can't use cruise control with that regen braking, and it is not one pedal driving. So in my driving, I just leave it in D mode. All right, I have auto brake hold here. It is not memory, so I have to turn it back on like any other Toyota every time I reset the car. Here's your auto EV HV button. Right now it's in EV mode, but if I press it again, it'll let the car choose what mode it should be in. All right, and then there's yeah, that's it. It's just auto EV HV. If you run out of EV range, this button does nothing. Okay, so right now it's just in EV mode. It'll stay in EV mode even if I floor it. All right, there's also HV EV mode. Oh, it says it's in hybrid mode right now. If I could take that off, it'll charge the battery too, if I remember correctly. But since my battery is completely full, I don't have that option here. All right, wireless phone charger here, and we can probably angle this up real quick. You know, we have 6 USB-Cs in this car, from the armrest to 2 up here. There's hidden storage in here that says #hidden compartment. You have this 12 volt. Big option. This is not standard on the XSE, this 12-inch screen. It is an option. It's not that expensive. But the volume knob is all the way across the car. Like, I have to get out of my seat to get to that volume knob. It just makes no sense. The base screen that you spend less money on has a volume knob like right here. So honestly, I'd probably give up this bigger screen to have a close volume knob. That's how picky I am with volume knobs. Oh, there's a deer in my yard. Let me see if I can get it before he runs away. The kids saw that deer the other day and they're just so excited. It's cool to live out in the country now. I have the cold weather package, obviously heated seats, heated steering wheel, and I also have windshield wiper de-icer, auto high beams, of course. But like, honestly, it is a little cramped in here. It's a little small. It feels a little bit more claustrophobic than my old Prius, but I still am comfortable in here, and comfort, or should I say a slight downgrade in comfort, wouldn't be a deal breaker. Now, I'm 6'1". I haven't hit my head getting into this vehicle, but if you're much taller than that, I wouldn't be surprised. This really aggressive roofline might be an issue for you. All right, with that being said, I'm ready to start driving this really cool Prius plug-in hybrid. We have a potato for a backup camera here, and like I said, I believe you can get the 360 camera, surround view camera on the XSE Premium, but that backup camera is a complete joke. It seems like it's 15 years old. All right, well, everything else about this car is so futuristic, from the design, and the powertrain's really cool in here. And then they just kind of have that terrible backup camera. This does have the newer updated software in here, so I have finally an escape out of my Android Auto without flying through the touchscreen to find the escape. All right, check this out. This is what's a little disappointing as well. On my energy flow, it doesn't tell me anything about, it says I'm in hybrid mode, which that's okay. I can be in hybrid mode. I forgot I left that on with the HV EV button, but it never tells me the state of charge on my hybrid energy monitor, okay, of the battery. And without that, it's like, for example, if I go to fully electric here, the engine turns off, it doesn't tell me what the state of, or like how full my battery is here. That's just a small complaint, but as a result, I never find myself using this screen anymore, okay? And up here, it doesn't tell me either my battery charge, so it's just frustrating. But that's just in the energy monitor. You see the small one here and the big one here. Now, there is a little whoops, I hit my blinker. There's a little battery gauge right here. And the battery gauge has a green area to let me know roughly how much EV battery I have left. Of course, it does say in the bottom right what percentage I have left of the electric side of the battery. Below that is a tiny, tiny little bar, and it's blue. And that blue bar indicates my traction battery once I'm in hybrid mode, okay? And so that little blue bar does deplete over time if I'm just sitting in car line and I'm running AC, okay? So that tells me my state of charge on my hybrid battery, but it's just so small and it doesn't give me a lot of information. I wish I had a percentage battery here like in Hyundai hybrids once I get into my hybrid battery instead of, you know, the full-on EV battery, if that makes sense. I'm in EV mode, so we're gonna do a 0 to 60 in fully electric. Now, to keep in mind, as I've been driving this week, this car, mostly in, I would say 50-50 in EV mode. 50-50. Now, again, half the time in fully electric, and I haven't once gone full pedal down in fully electric, even with 4 kids in here, using every seat. So that tells me it's like, okay, well, on paper, it might not have the most electric juice or horsepower. I would assume it's probably around 120 horsepower. That's just my guess of fully electric, which is more than enough. All right, driving in town, electric is very smooth, as we'll find out here in a little bit, and it's plenty torquey and plenty powerful in my testing. All right, so the drag meter is ready to go. We're in fully electric, pedal down. Yeah, that 0 to 25 is really good. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. It's a 10.6 second 0 to 60, and that's roughly how fast previous generation, like the 3rd and 4th generation Priuses were in hybrid mode when you use the gasoline engine. So about a 10.5 second 0 to 60. And like I said, I haven't once needed that much power, even with all the kids in the car, all right, this week. So like the 0 to 25 is really, really good. And then it kind of falls flat after that. And we can put it into sport mode. It's not really gonna matter, I don't think. I haven't been in sport mode once this week. It's not like it limits your throttle or it enhances your throttle, but it doesn't limit your horsepower. All right, so we're just gonna go. Oh, a little wheel spin there. A little chirp, so much faster. 6.75, that wasn't even that good of a run. It might be able to do faster. So 6.75, 0 to 60 in combined hybrid mode, and it's noticeably faster, but it's also noticeably louder. And so I feel like that's a good segue. This powertrain is loud, and I'm comparing it to another hybrid I've driven recently from Toyota, and that's the amazing Camry LE. The Camry LE is about a $30,000 vehicle. It's bigger than this. It gives me better fuel economy when in full hybrid, if you're comparing hybrid to hybrid. And it's a quieter, smoother, less loud, better powertrain than what this Prius plug-in hybrid has. The best aspects of this powertrain is you know, you pedal down and it goes, like the responsiveness is fantastic. It does feel a hair faster than the Camry, but it's so much louder when the engine is on, and it's a bit unfortunate, because I think this Prius, what's holding it back from maybe stepping in a little bit more of like a premium vehicle, is that the engine just is buzzy and it's loud. If they've had a way to make it as quiet as the Camry from the engine compartment, it would, I would say, it could probably fetch the price tag that it has. All right, but that's its glaring weakness, is that the powertrain is awfully loud in hybrid mode. But I get it, like if you're driving mostly an electric, then you won't have to deal with it. But if you're driving mostly an electric, maybe you should just get an electric car. All right, so while this is probably the coolest Prius with, you know, the vehicle to load, I got 50 miles of electric range, like it's very versatile, but no all-wheel drive is kind of a thing. This had all-wheel drive. Man, all-wheel drive at, let's say, 250 horsepower then or more, then we're really talking about something truly special here for the price. But again, the price, it's just a little high for the size of the vehicle and what this vehicle offers. Now, it's unique, it's hot, but the standard hybrid's just as hot as this car, so you don't need to get this if you're looking at the Prius in general. All right, powertrain aside, I typically focus a little too much on powertrain. All right, good torque, good power in hybrid mode, just a bit buzzy, and in electric mode, it is very, very quiet. All right. But back to the rest of the car, I said the comfort's good enough. It's a little tight. ride quality here, despite having 19-inch wheels, ride quality is, I don't know why, but it's good. It shouldn't be as good as it is. The vehicle feels really solid. I don't have any creaks or rattles. And ride quality, even over less than perfect road, is just surprisingly good for such an aggressively styled small vehicle. Really impressed with that. It's quiet. It's acceptably quiet once you're cruising. Not too much road noise, surprisingly, and not that much wind noise. All right, and it shouldn't have that much wind noise. It's like take it out of sport mode and get back into normal mode. Yeah, like not that, like I don't have a lot of wind buffeting going on or anything like that. So overall, it's a pretty quiet, comfortable vehicle, like more so than I was expecting. And the handling, I would say, it does match the looks. Is it quite as accurate or as sharp or as eager as something like a Civic? No, not even close. But I would say the driving dynamics are satisfactory given the looks of the car. This is a bit surprising. There are only 91 Prius in my area, and there are 97 plug-in hybrids. That is bizarre that there's an equal amount. I think it could be because the Prius sells much faster, and the plug-in hybrids maybe are starting to build up an inventory. I'm not quite sure, but that's staggering to see this sort of equality in plug-in hybrid and Prius non-plug-in hybrid availability. But let's just start with the plug-in hybrid and check out the prices. Some price drops, a little bit of price drops. Let's see if we can see lowest price here. Again, this is going to be the SE, $33K. This is a really good buy here. If you can find one, $33K, I know it has its issues. It doesn't have the smart key access, but if you like this silver one, it has a smaller wheels, you're going to get better efficiency and range. If you can get an SE Prius for the low 30s, it's a great buy. All right, that is surprising me. But let's look at XSE. How many, well, we're seeing some nightshades. That means there's 26s coming around. Nightshade fixes the ugly front bumper being silver, but man, still over 40 grand. I would just find an aftermarket solution for that bumper. All right, there's quite a few XSEs. This is the highest volume, 38K. That's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. But again, these things can, XSE premiums oftentimes are well over $40,000. An XSE premium is not a good buy. But let's look at standard Prius, okay, instead of the plug-in hybrid. Where are the prices at? You know, 28K for the base LE, that's about, well, we're seeing actually some price drops here on the base Prius. 28K, about $2,000 price drops. $1,000 price drop. Okay, so around 30K, really good deal. Let's look at some nightshades because, well, I'm a big fan of the nightshade. Oh, does it not have the Karashi paint color anymore? If it doesn't, that's a big miss. But XLE is the most popular as well as the LE. I like them in both trims. You know, at 32K, would I take an XLE normal Prius or would I spend $2-3 more to get the plug-in hybrid? That is tough. You might not ever see, I'll say this, you're never going to be able to make up the fuel savings going to a plug-in, all right, because the standard Prius is so efficient. So it's not going to be worth it to some, all right? And if you need all-wheel drive, then that's another discussion altogether because you can't get on the plug-in hybrid. But I love the versatility that the plug-in hybrid affords you as well as the extra power. And I do think it's a rational upgrade for $3,000 more, $4,000 more maybe. But $3,000, I could see that. And I would take an LE Prime or plug-in over an XLE. But here's the thing, as we look at these Prius prices, there's a Camry out there, and look at these Camry prices. You can get a Camry for $3,000 less, and it is better equipped in some ways than that Prius is. A Camry LE is definitely a better buy than a Prius, no doubt about it. It just doesn't have that sex appeal. I don't know why this has older model years popping up here because the 25s are here. Anyways, it doesn't have that sex appeal, but it is a far more usable vehicle. It's easier to put friends and family in it. It's easier to put cargo in it, in theory, right? It depends on what you're using the Prius liftback for, but it's just a much more usable vehicle, and it is more efficient than the Prius, at least versus the ones with 19-inch wheels, the Camry LE with the 17-inch wheels. So this is the problem of the Prius. The Camry is just so good, and it's a better vehicle for less money. And then you also have things like the RAV4, which you can get for around 32 grand. And it's a lot more, has way more utility than the Prius. The Prius has style, though, that the other two more mass market vehicles in the Camry and the RAV4 does not have. All right. Now, this is more of a direct competitor against the Prius, and this is the Civic Hybrid. And you can get into sport touring if you want. With the liftback, this is also a really solid buy here. And you can get these for the low 30s. Again, 2 grand discounts. There's a ton. As we saw the Prius availability in my area around 90, look at the Civic Hybrids. There's over 600. So you're much more likely to be able to wheel and deal and bargain down your local dealer. Look, this is Prius LE prices, right? And this is a more usable vehicle than the Prius. Doesn't look as good. It handles better. It is quicker off the line, but not quite as efficient as a Prius. All right, so it's also an excellent buy here. But would I take a Camry LE over this? Yeah, I still would. All right, so let's get to the spreadsheet. Where does a Prius plug-in hybrid stand here? It's beautiful. It's zippy. Great EV range. Great miles per gallon. It is about on the pricey end, and it's, if you can get it under MSRP or under $35,000 or definitely under 40. Once you're over 40, like the model I tested today with all the options on it, it's not worth it. And it wasn't an XSE Premium, for example. And mine didn't have the JBL audio or the digital rearview mirror, and it's still over 40K because of distributor and dealer add-ons. But there's no all-wheel drive. It is tight on the inside. And when you are in hybrid mode, it is loud. So where is the Prius going to end up? All right, I still think it's A, just like the standard Prius. Now, it's going to be up to you to decide if it's worth it over a standard Prius. I'm going to put it just under the Prius here. All right. There's so many things. I guess I could put it as hatch. There's so many things I love about the Prius plug-in hybrid, but again, it is still a compromised experience. No all-wheel drive and the price. Those are the two biggest cons for me with this vehicle. And so let me know in the comments, would you be spending 2, 3, 4, it's typically 3 to 4 grand more for a plug-in hybrid Prius over the standard? All right. And that also comes with, hey, you're still going to have to plug it in every day, every single day. And that's a little bit more nannying too in some ways. Now, I wouldn't mind it. It wouldn't bother me. I would never be spending money on gas with 50 miles of EV range. I could drop the kids off, plug it in while I'm working, then pick up the kids again. It would be a really, really good buy for me and my needs. But so is the standard Prius. Like, that thing is great. And it gets better miles per gallon overall than the Prius plug-in hybrid when you're running in hybrid mode. So again, I'll see you guys in the comments. Let me know. Are you going to get just a Camry? It's a better car. It's not as sexy though. Are you going to get a Civic? It's more fun to drive. It's a little bit quicker in some ways. Not as sexy though. So the Prius plug-in hybrid has that sex appeal. It has that flexibility, and it's just a really, really, really good car. All right. And there's nothing too majorly annoying about it in my week of driving. All right. So I thought I was going to put it down here, but after seeing plug-in hybrid availability on the Prius skyrocket and deals really improving as a result, under 35K, I think the Prius plug-in is a really good deal. All right, I'll see you in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more car reviews, and special thanks again to Jermaine Toyota of Naples, as well as my distributor Southeast Toyota, for helping me out and getting these cool press cars. Let me know what you would like to see next. I might take a break for a while because I have so many trips coming up. So I might take a break a while until December, January timeframe, but we'll see how things pan out. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and have a great day. Peace.